I just thought just an interesting idea would just kind of be to talk about just the experience of a little bit of what doing these videos have been like. I know one thing I could say is it's been weird for me. James has been doing movies his whole life since he was a kid, and I grew up really drawing comics by myself in my room and stuff, and I guess what I'm trying to say was I didn't have much experience being in front of a camera where you've been doing it your whole life almost. Mm-hmm. So when the time came for, James wanted me to be like in a video, at least for the nerd videos. We had done like a little bit of stuff in college before that, but that was more like, it was just like a weird little college thing. But for the nerd was already popular. Like thousands of people were like looking at online and stuff. And when I was gonna be like in a nerd episode, I was very like nervous about it because I knew like a lot of people were gonna see it, and I didn't really want to be seen because I was very camera shy, and that's why it was like with the Jason Voorhees thing, with wearing the mask and all that. I agreed to do it because for one thing, James needed somebody to do it, to play the role, and since it had a mask on, I was okay with doing it because nobody would see my face, nobody would know who I am. So I was like, oh, okay, I can do that. But
and very slowly you got into it, because then like your characters would be like masked at first, and then you start playing characters where it was makeup.
Yeah.
And then eventually there was no makeup.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Very slowly people saw your face.
Yeah, I think I was the lion after that, and it was like I had this outfit on, and still I had a lot of makeup on, so you kind of really couldn't tell who I was. But I had a little more dialogue and all that, and the Joker and all that stuff. And gradually it became more and more, and I kind of turned into myself, where now it's just me.
Yeah, in the Bored James videos and everything. Yeah.
And it's weird. Even right now I'm not completely comfortable, I have to say. But like I've gotten a lot more comfortable being in front of a camera. Whereas when I watch James doing these videos... like I'll watch a video that James makes completely on his own. Like just recently he did that SNES versus Genesis video, and he showed it to me, and I watched that, and I watched James, and he's just sitting there talking calmly to the camera and all that, and I'm like, this guy is just so natural on camera, and I just feel like I'm so like nervous, and I'm so aware of the audience watching me. I get real nervous and all that. Yeah,
you know what it is? I mean, like I rehearse it and I say it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And a lot of time, it's like it's scripted and everything. So there's like videos where I'm scripted, and then there's videos like this where there's no script or anything.
Yeah.
So what you hear from me right now is just real, and it's just what it is. But yeah, like
did you ever feel this way at all? Like doing a video, like kind of nervous because like people are gonna see it, or is that just me?
No, it's not just you. But like when I filmed videos when I was like 13, I would do things where I'm talking about monsters and stuff, and I'm on camera, but nobody saw it. It was just it would just be a VHS tape that would sit in my closet, so there was just no harm. But then like as I got a little bit older, when I was like maybe like 15 or something, I started looking back at my older videos, and that's actually a long time, by the way, from like ages 12 and 13 and then going on to 15. It's all, you go through like a whole change. It felt like that was ages ago. That's a long time for when you're that young. But anyway, I would watch videos of myself when I was 13 or 12 or whenever it was, and I would just be like, oh, this is awful. I hate myself. I hated my voice. I like hated everything. I hated the way my hair looked. I was like, oh, my hair is like messy, and like my there's like a gap between my teeth, and I'm like, I just hated every little detail about myself, and I would just be like, I'm never watching this again. And then I started looking back at it way after that and be like, oh, this is cool that I was doing stuff when I was young, And now when I do stuff as the nerd, it's like refined, where now I know what I like. I won't post anything until like I'm happy with it. Like I'll do take after take after take, and I use the part that worked best. So knowing that I get a chance to edit it and give it to the audience the way I want them to see it. Right. So you get to make the choices and cut what you don't like and everything. And
I've kind of had to learn as I've gone on here, like kind of on my feet, because James went to LA to kind of shoot this movie, and during that time I was trying to put some videos on the site of my own just to kind of have some videos going while James was away, because he was too busy to kind of make videos for a little while there because he was trying to shoot a movie. So I was doing a few videos on my own there, and I kind of had to learn like some of this, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't post this like online because it's really not like refined enough yet.
You like the way it came out,
like a couple of the videos I did like during that period, I was like, maybe I really shouldn't have released this.
So there are ones
online.
that like I didn't even see.
Yeah, no, you've seen everything.
Oh, okay.
I showed you everything, but like a couple of them I didn't really like care for.
Oh, yeah.
But like anyway, but other ones I did like. But it's like, it's always that like artist thing of like looking at your own work and seeing something that somebody else doesn't see or whatever. In fact, Kyle Justin was here today, and we were watching. I was showing him the Ninja Gaiden episode that Kevin was in, and we were laughing the whole time. But when the episode first came on, I saw the title card that I did for that episode, and I hate that title card because it's just like this blue background, and it's just like an image or whatever. I guess it's the nerd holding a bow or something. It's just like, I feel like I could have done a much better job. Like I could have drawn you or the nerd fighting like this. I could have done something a lot better for that. And the thing is, that episode is, I think that episode is, I had really nothing to do with that too much. Well, we beat Ninja Gaiden 2 together, but really that was mostly you and Kevin. And you guys did such a good job, and it was so funny and stuff. And then I look at my title card, and I'm like, great, I did a great contribution for that, you know? So, I don't know. That's the kind of thing, like, that happens sometimes. But then other times I look at it, and I'm like, oh, I did a good job there. Like, when you did the Castlevania 4-part series, like, I think those title cards, I think I did a great job on those.
Yeah.
So now I'm just talking about, like, what I think about my own work. And I know you're like that, too, because... and it shows it in episode 94, I think.
Which one was
the
that?
Revisited episode.
Yeah,
You're talking about the Ninja Turtle review.
I wasn't happy with some of them.
Yeah, like see, when I always saw the Ninja Turtle review, I just thought, wow, this is a funny episode.
Yeah.
But then you see James looking at the Ninja Turtle episode, and he sees it in a different way than everybody else. He looks at it and he's like, oh, I repeated a sentence that I said like kind of twice in a row, and he's looking at it like, because he's the guy that made it, you know? So he's looking at it, oh, I made a mistake here. And we're all just looking at it like, oh, this is funny, you know? So...
Yeah. I'll look back at other videos, like especially when I'm making the DVD, I have to watch all of them from the past year.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, crap, I gotta watch this one again or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, actually, this one's pretty funny. I like what I did here.
Yeah.
You know, so it goes both ways.
I think it must be hard for you, as the guy in the videos, to see it the way other people see it. People have asked a lot about like my involvement and all that, and it's just like some episodes, like we play the game down here or whatever, and I help out.
Yeah.
Like some of the episodes I've helped out a lot, and other ones I haven't. Like I think the Zelda timeline episode I helped out, and I've always been like really familiar with Zelda since I'm a kid and stuff. I know a lot about Zelda.
You helped me beat Zelda 2 because I got stuck in the game.
Yeah, so some of them I help out quite a bit with, and then other ones I have nothing to do with. There you go. If you people that wanted to know that. So some of the episodes I help out on, some of them I don't.
It's in the I think you're in the research department if you're gonna pick something, I guess.
Because people are always like, what does this guy do? Who is this Mike Matei guy? Like what is he? You know, like who is this guy? Who does he think he is? You know.
Well, he did the title cards for a while.
Well, everybody knows I did the title cards and all that. So. When you first started the Nerd, you made the first couple episodes or whatever, and you had it on the site. And then did the Roger Rabbit episode, and then when it went on onto YouTube, a lot of people started watching it. And I remember, I think the first day we put those episodes up, or the first week or whatever, I remember looking at it specifically and seeing one of the videos, whatever it was, had like 16,000 views on it, and at that time it was like mind-blowing for 16,000 people to have watched one video. And I remember you've said before that you didn't even believe those numbers. That's that many people. And I mean, obviously now you believe it, but like, what was it like for you? Like, when did you make the decision, like, that you were gonna keep kind of making episodes? Because the thing I'm trying to say really is, like, James... really, his goal was really to be a filmmaker and to make things like horror movies and this type of thing, because in college you had made the Jersey Odysseys, which was like a Twilight Zone type of thing, and James really wanted to get into filmmaking and make like a science fiction movie or a horror movie or a comedy or whatever, like a film though, something with actors. And then he did this one-off like game review thing, and then that kind of turned into something. It's like your life kind of skewed in a different direction. And then when it started to get popular, were you kind of conscious of like, okay, my life's kind of going in another direction here, and like, but do you know what I'm trying to say? And like, and when did you make the decision, like, okay, for a little while, like, I'm gonna just do this for a little while and just make these videos and see what comes of it? Like when you first started to see it become popular, like what was that like? And do you know what I'm trying to say?
Oh, it was great. I mean, it's still a blast. Like, it's something really important to me to have that, to like be able to entertain people, because I think that was really the biggest part of the goal all along. And it stopped a lot of my films or put them on halt. I'm still trying to make stuff, but it's just taking a lot longer. But it was kind of like I guess you could say it was a detour, but it was a good detour because
I feel like a lot of your fans that watch The Nerd don't really know, like I think a lot of people think like The Nerd is like the thing that you want to do, and that's like it, and that's like your main goal. And I know like you like to do The Nerd, but it's not your only thing you want to do. Yeah. And I don't know that everybody really understands that it's not the only thing you want to do. You want to make all... See, that's what... The thing that created The Nerd is the fact that you're a filmmaker and you like to do all kinds of movies. See, James... When I first met James, one of the first things he did was bring over a pile of VHS tapes and show me all these fucking crazy movies he did. He did this one about, like, somebody jumping in a pool, like that pool one you did with Kevin or whatever, and, like, this one called Death Puppy with, this killer dog, and, like, all these different crazy movies.
And that still doesn't even represent what I'm trying to do, because, like, was, like, if I were to make that same movie today, it would be so much better. But that goes back to us talking about when you look at your own work and you're like, that sucks.
But the point of it, my point, though, is that you were making all sorts of different things, and when you did the Castlevania thing, that was just, like, Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, that was just, like, one thing you did out of a billion different things you were doing. Yeah. And then it became, like, almost the only thing you were doing was just these game reviews, when it used to be you were making all kinds of stuff. Mm-hmm. So my point is to let kind of the audience know that James is capable of doing a lot of things, and he's more than just this one character, But, yeah, I guess that's basically what I wanted to say.
All right. So, okay.
And I guess the one other thing, we mentioned the YouTube channel and all that. Just the JamesNintendoNerd YouTube channel. I just want to clear the air on this. So yeah, he had made the 3 episodes: Simon's Quest, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Karate Kid, and then he showed me the Karate Kid episode. I thought it was hilarious. I wanted you to make another one because I thought it was so funny. I thought it was one of the funniest things you had done. So I was like, do another one, and then you're like, all right. And you did the Roger Rabbit episode, and at that point, YouTube came along, and then we decided, let's put this thing on this YouTube thing, whatever this YouTube thing is. And I think we just typed in real quick, James, Nintendo Nerd, whatever, because we didn't know. Like, we would be sitting here 6 years later still talking about this damn thing, and there'd be a movie and, all this stuff. Yeah. We had no idea. Had I known, I probably would have wrote Cinemassacre Productions, because that would have made more sense, because Cinemassacre...
Angry Video Game Nerd,
or Angry Video Game Nerd, or something, something that made more sense. So
James Nintendo Nerd.
Yeah, so when there's all this confusion of, why is James uploading a video of it's bullshit on the Nerd channel? Like, why?
Because there is a Cinemassacre YouTube channel, but I just kind of abandoned it for a while. I still post things on it here and there, but it's just
once in a while.
Yeah, it's like if you have one channel that everybody's looking at, just post everything on one channel. It's kind of hard to manage 2 channels. Yeah. And
YouTube doesn't allow you to change the name or anything either, so it's just
But you know what's funny is that even to this day, Mike is always showing me new social networking things. So I think really like when MySpace was popular, like I remember you used to use that.
Yeah.
But you used to just use that for fun, you know, before you even made like
I had like a MySpace account or whatever.
Yeah, like you
a lot of people did. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was huge. It was popular, and like.
I just thought of it as like, I guess I saw like, this is like a thing that I thought a lot of people could relate to it, because I thought like, oh, so many kids grew up with Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like it was a way to help you get popular with this stuff, to help you, you know. So I made this with the MySpace and all this stuff, and the social networking thing has always been an important part of the nerd, and getting it out there.
That's really like, if anyone asks what he has to do with things, really like another big part is the social networking, because I didn't really know what YouTube was, or really MySpace. I never even really used MySpace personally that much. So you do the MySpace, the Facebook, and the only thing I'm really kind of doing right now on my own at the time, I'm using the Twitter a little more often. Like I'm kind of doing that myself. But you're always the one showing me these new things. Like even right now, you're talking about this Instagram thing, and I'm like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
So I
haven't even told you about like the Tumblr thing yet.
Yeah, I don't even know what that. He's gonna tell me this Tumblr thing. Yeah. So really, you're always finding the. Like, because I'm a kind of person, it's just the way I am, is that I think because I have a website, all I do is the website, and I just I don't pay attention to a lot of things. Yeah. I'm kind of like an old granddaddy. Like, I'm just not very tech savvy. I don't really know.
Once you learn it, you know how to use it though. But you don't. I don't think you really search out the new things. I gotta like kind of tell you about it, and that's the way it's kind of been. And it's just, James, I think you would like to see as many people. If you make a video, wouldn't you like as many people to see it as possible?
Yeah, and I think that's what it completed for me. Like,
that's what I'm trying to do for him.
And maybe just to sum things up, like, I think my whole life I always felt like that was an empty spot to me, because I would make movies and it's like, well, who do you get to show them to? And I'd send them to film festivals and stuff, and you never know what they're looking for at film festivals, so it's like, my films would never get in, and I always felt like I need to get my movies shown, and that's always like the big thing. And I think, and this was really like, where it all like came together for me. So because that completes a part of me, that it means a lot to be able to entertain people. I think that's my goal in life. So if you're entertained, then I've succeeded.